Hey guys, I'm Emily Powers, and today I'm going to be showing how to paint some super easy trees. It's going to be super simple. I'm going to show you how to do it with acrylics, and I'm just going to show you step by step what I do so that you can follow along and paint it with me. And the colors are really simple today. It's just white, the three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and then brown. And I have the specific color names in the description. But for beginners, sometimes you don't have, a bunch of different colors. So as long as you have like white, red, yellow, blue, and maybe like a black or something, you can mix most colors to begin with, because you don't want to get all these colors if you're not sure you're going to end up liking painting anyway. So as long as you have those colors, you can mix green and orange and a bunch of different colors. So, but you could probably mix the brown with black and these colors. So, there's, like I said, the supplies are in the description, and there's also links in the description where you can buy some of the supplies, and a percentage of your purchase helps support my channel. So you can just buy some stuff and it supports me. So I'm going to take a spray bottle, and you don't have to do this if you don't have a spray bottle, but I just have water and I can spray my paint to keep it wet longer. You don't have to do that, especially if you're just starting. You may not have a spray bottle for painting, but since I paint a lot, I have one to keep it wet longer. So this is a number 12 bright in the Princeton Summit series, and you don't have to have the exact same brush, just like a 1-inch size about. And I'm going to start by doing just kind of laying down some color before I do all my trees. So the sky, I'm going to do it with white mainly. So I'm going to just get some of that titanium white, and you can add some water if you need it to, if it's not kind of thick, you may want to add some water. And I'm just going to put it on the top section of the canvas, and I'm not going to worry too much about where I'm putting it, just in this top section. You wouldn't want to do too little white, because then you have to go back and put more. So you might want to go further than you need to. You can always go back and cover over the white. And then I might take just a little bit of blue, and a little bit of that phthalo blue tints it a lot. So depending on what blue you have, it may need a little bit more or less, but this phthalo blue tints it quite a bit. And I'm just going to kind of tap in, and since that white's still wet, it's just going to kind of make kind of some wild looking stuff back here. Maybe the sky's mainly white, but it's got some blue, and it kind of looks like maybe some clouds or something. And you can put more or less of the blue wherever you want. Alright, and now I'm going to rinse all that light color out of my brush, and for most of it I want it really dark. I'm not going to do any special color or anything, because there's different colored trees. So I'm going to get this brown, and I'll see in a minute if I can mix the brown with these other colors. I'm just going to get some brown. This is burnt umber. And a little bit of water again if your paint is not really wanting to go very far. You can kind of help it go farther. You don't want to go too far into the sky, but I mean, we're going to be covering over the trees, so I want all that to be dark. Right here. Alright. And now bring it down some. Really, you could probably go over this whole canvas with this brown after you do the sky, so I'm just going to go ahead and do brown. So you may not really think that this is how you would start this painting. It may be kind of like, well, you didn't put any detail in there, but we don't need a whole lot of detail at this first part. We're just like covering most of the canvas right now. So we'll go back and do much more detail, obviously, but this will be just kind of a simple way to get paint down. So I'm going to let that dry, but before I dry it, you can dry it with a hair dryer if you want to speed it up. Just make sure you don't make sure you have it on the cold setting, and keep it, you know, like 6 inches away from the canvas or so. So I'm going to take a palette knife just to see what I can get when I mix these colors. So I'm going to take some of my red, Cadmium Red Medium, and some of the blue, Phthalo Blue. So I mean, look, just those colors together made kind of like a brown. Just the blue and the red. And I mean, really, actually, that color is a little darker than the brown I made, so it actually probably would work even better. So you can mix the these 3 primary colors and make a brown. You don't even have to have the brown pre-mixed. So see, I mean, that's actually darker. I probably would have used that if I realized it was going to be that dark. Possibly. I don't know. I probably would have just done that. I don't know. You could do it either way. So, but that is a really nice dark for the back. So you can use that. It would work really good. So I'm going to actually, I think this top part's dry. And the, let's see, what was I going to say? The brushes you have don't have to be the same as mine, just something similar. The red and blue and all the colors I'm using, your red may be slightly different than mine, but you know, it's okay. It's going to be close enough. So just use whatever you have. And I'm going to take a 3/8 inch Deerfoot, and it's the Select, Princeton Select brush. And you don't even have to have this exact brush, just something that's kind of got the bristles fanned out. Even if it's like a flat brush that's kind of like older, or just, you know, as long as the bristles are kind of fanned out and not super tight, then you can use that and it should work. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I'm going to start, I'm not going to wet it. I'm going to get some white and just kind of put some light texture in the sky up here. And you may not really be able to see it very well on the camera. It's even a little like hard to see where I'm sitting here, but I'm just going to put some texture since the rest of it's going to be textured. I mean, the picture there's some texture in the sky, so you could leave it out if you don't feel like it does really anything, but since the rest has texture, I'll put it up here. And might, once we get down here to the blue, we're going to put a little bit of white down there, but we're going to get, let's see, a bit of that blue. And just kind of tap it in and let it kind of make some texture in here. And if you want more blue, you could do more blue. If you don't really want as much blue and you want it more white, you could do more white. It's kind of whatever you want. And most of this we're not going to see, so. Alright. So I'm going to rinse those out of my brush and we're going to work on the trees. So it's mainly green, but there are some like there's a red one, kind of like a lime green, and then some orange. So I'm going to first take my cadmium yellow medium and some phthalo blue, and that'll make a green. And then I'll take some of this colory mix. So it was just these colors, mainly red and blue. So you could probably just add a little bit of red to it. And get kind of like a dark green. And I will put that where I'm seeing these green trees. So there's like one, it's kind of right in here. Kind of got a funny, there's some yellow that's coming off, or some white or something. Get some more of that dark, make it darker, so it's just like slightly green, mostly kind of brownish. And just getting that brown there. And just kind of put this, sorry, my cat's kneading on her thing over there. It's making some noise. Let's see, well, before I get more of that, I'm going to get that cadmium red and put in the red tree. And then see, I need more. I'm running out really quick. So maybe for the brighter trees, I might do more of the green without the brown color. And then for the other trees that are kind of like a darker green, I might add that brown to it. So get some of that red and add it in there. And this is kind of like a more blue, or got a little bit more blue. That time when I picked it up. So just tapping up and down. And I'm covering a lot of that brown that we had. Getting some more of the brighter. I mean, you could do pretty much the same green. You don't have to change from darker, like a more bluish. But if you kind of want to just slightly change it every once in a while, then it might kind of make it interesting having some different color in there. Alright, and I'm going to make it brighter for this tree because it's more like a yellow color. And I'm going to rinse that green out on my brush at the moment and do this orange one. You don't want that green in there because red and yellow will make orange, but then if you add the blue, it'll make it like that brown. So you don't want that bluish in there. And if you get a little, it may not really affect it. You don't have to like completely clean your brush out like as if you were to put it away, but you want a lot of that out of there. Alright, I'm going to get the yellow and the red and make it orange. I may even get a little bit of white. Let's see. Yeah, I'll get a little bit of white so it'll kind of cover better. And I'll just, this one kind of goes pretty high. Just tapping, you can kind of turn your brush, make some different shapes. On a big tree here. And now I'm going to get that phthalo blue and a little bit of red. Yeah, really, I don't even think you need that brown. So you could take the brown out. You don't really need it. I'm going to put some like bluish color back here. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm not looking at the top colors, so like I'm not looking at the bright yellow green over here and the kind of lighter greens in here. I'm looking at the dark that's like peeking through behind the lighter colors, and I'm putting that dark behind them, because if you just went in with the color that you're seeing the most, then it would look kind of flat. It would just be like one solid color with no dark areas. So putting in some dark so that it'll have more depth. It won't just look like we put like a blob of green and then a blob of red. It'll actually look more like tree shapes that have you know, depth in them. And in here, there's actually, in the picture, there's some light purpley I'm going to get some of the red and blue together and make like purple. And see what it looks like with white. It's more blue right now, so I'll get more red. So it doesn't make a very pretty purple with the colors I got, but that's alright. So I got some of the red and the blue. And I'll get some white and some red, some yellow. Actually, now I think of it, you might end up needing that brown. But for this grass part, it may not really make a muted color as good as I want. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll say at the end whether they need that. Going back and forth. You know, you could use it. I don't think you need it. Actually, you might need it. So I'm going back and forth. So just wait until the end to say one way or the other. So I got the mainly white and then some yellow and some red to make this like reddish color. And I'm just tapping, and I'm kind of making it like a hill here, so it goes down. And I'm getting like some other colors coming off the brush, and that's alright. Looks like. So see, if we had put this light first, you wouldn't have all these dark areas underneath that give it that depth. Alright, so I'm going to mix that off here. Alright, and this is kind of drying, so I'll keep going with it. So you wouldn't want to go over something that's like half dry and still half wet. Like right in here I have that blue. It's still drying, so if I went over it, it may end up lifting up the paint and having like a weird spot there. And if that happens, it's not like the end of the world. You can just let it dry and then cover back over it, but you still don't want that happening, so try not to by not going over something that's wet. So I'm going to start with some of these like back trees in the back here. So I'm going to get a little bit of that phthalo blue. Looks like there was some phthalo blue back in there. And some phthalo blue in this one. And I know that looks weird right now, but just keep going. And I'll get yellow with that. Make it brighter. So the more yellow you add, the lighter the green is. The more blue, the bluish green you're going to get. So I'm going to get that bright yellow, and since that's kind of already what we had, I'm going to get a little bit of white, and that's going to brighten that up. I'm going to get a little bit of that white and tap it in. And so I got like the without white and then the with white. So I'll get without first and kind of put it in here. And then with white, I'm going to get some more yellow. More white. It'll be a little brighter. So see, we got that dark back there, and it looks like it's a tree. And now I'll rinse that green out, and I'll do this red one. So I'm going to do, there's actually like some purple behind it, so I'm going to get mainly red and some of the phthalo blue. Make it darker, make it like a purple, and put some of that dark back in here. Okay, and then we'll get, so every time I rinse, I kind of tap my brush out on my rag so that it will get a lot of that moisture off. You don't want your brush like dripping. And I'll get that red. So it's brighter. You can kind of go over that other tree a little bit. And then you can add like a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white. Make it a little bit brighter. Put like a few of those on there. Make it brighter. That. Alright. There's our red one. So it's pretty simple with this brush. Just kind of get the color tree you want, a darker, like a middle and a lighter, and then tap. So we get this like lime green, just mainly yellow and a little bit of blue. And some white. And a little bit more blue. Certain areas make it darker. And then we'll get that yellow with this light green. Getting really bright. Let's see, we're gonna need more white. Alright, so it looks kind of funny at the moment because it's like just darkness, kind of like a hill, and then like some bright colors sitting on top. It looks kind of funny, but we'll add some brighter down here and then look more like trees. Alright, so next I think I'll do, let's see what tree do I want to do. I think next I'll work on this orange one. So, and working the trees that are behind the trees that are in front makes it kind of easier because then you don't have to because then the trees that are on top, you can kind of cover over the trees that are behind. But if you do it the opposite way, it'll look kind of funny, like the ones behind are in front. So we're going to, I mean, you can do it, but it just might be a little easier that way. So I'm going to take this, let's see here, we get a little bit of blue and kind of tap it up in here. And make some purple, get some more red with it. So I'll get some of this like dark and back in here. So you can always like do lighter and then go back and do some darker and back and do some lighter. So it's not like if you get like too much light, you can always go back and put darker. But I'm doing this just so I can get some of this like other color in there. And get some more of like a brighter red. Kind of tap that in a few spots. There and there. Alright, and then this tree, it's kind of dark. Then I'm going to get the Phthalo Blue and some yellow. So by adding mostly blue and a little yellow, it's kind of like a dark green. And I'm going to tap some of that in. And some of this kind of like dark green color will be in this tree. It's kind of in front too. Kind of. Go over some of this really blue stuff. All right. And there's another tree right in here. Maybe kind of hard to see what it looks, that it's actually a different color than what we already have in this dark area, but you'll probably be able to see it in yours. So, all right. So you got that. Now most of it up. And my colors on here seem to be a little brighter. I forget if I said that already, but if you want them a little bit more muted, you can just add, like, you know, if it's an orange, you could add a little bit more, just a little bit of blue or a little bit of brown, and that could kind of mute the color a little bit and make it not so bright. But if you like the brighter, then this should be good. So I'm going to take just some yellow by itself and kind of tap in these areas that are, let's see, I need more yellow. I'm going to pause because my yellow is running low. Might take me a minute. Alright, and I'll take some of that there. And since this green, I wanted a little bit more yellow, it's already got some of this like white-ish color, like a light color. So if I go over it, see how much more yellow it looks than over there. So just kind of go over that and put some bright yellow in some certain spots. There we go. And I may even take a little bit of white with that yellow. do some spots that are kind of out of the area I did last time. Kind of over that other tree a little bit. And you get just a tiny touch, just barely, a little bit of blue. Make it like green. Barely. Okay. And I will rinse that. Alright, and now this tree, I'm going to take mainly yellow, a little bit of red, and some white. Alright, and then I'll get more white and yellow. Do some right here, kind of on top. So certain areas you still want to have pretty dark so that it's kind of got some depth in it. So it kind of looks like this part's kind of sticking out a little bit further than this part. So kind of do that a little bit. Alright, that's pretty cool. And I'm going to get a little bit of red. I'm like running out of my colors just one by one, and I have to squirt more. It's like white, okay, now I ran out of yellow. No, I'm running out of red. Alright, so I kind of made another orange, and I'll just tap. Looks like there's little areas where there's, in here, there's like some orange color peeking through. And I'm kind of using the tip and making not so much, not a whole lot of this. So just kind of tap, make it where it's not so much coming off the brush. So like with this brush, I use the tip because it's, because like one end is kind of longer hairs than the other. But if you're using like a flat brush that just had the hairs spreading out, you might just want to use like the corner, maybe. So, and you probably wouldn't use a brush quite so big. You could, whatever size you want. Alright, and so I'll just keep working on this tree. I mean, it's pretty much just going back and forth, seeing what we like. That's like way too much blue, but alright, so I'm getting making that green again. Make it a little lighter this time. And this tree is pretty dark, just like anyway, but I'm going to tap in a little bit of lighter in certain spots. So it's not just like all the dark green. And kind of make some like bumps and stuff, so it'll you don't want it just kind of, you don't want I mean, you could do it all the same shape, but kind of having ones that kind of look like having these highlights to where it looks like pockets and stuff like that, it'll kind of make, I think it makes the trees interesting. You can do it however you want. Putting a little bit more like a darker green in there because it kind of went over too far. I didn't want to go over quite so far with that. Alright. Now going back to the other green, you can kind of put in a few. Other areas, and there's a brighter tree right in here. Make some darker first before I get into that light. So I'm doing a little bit more green back here. And then you can get some more of that yellower green. So this is kind of just like bushes, I guess. It's kind of just pretty solid. Actually is some red down there I didn't get. I didn't rinse my brush out, but I got so much red that you won't really be able to see the green I put in. Get the orange and kind of, alright. Now if I get my green back, I can kind of go over and a little bit of white with that green. And if you have too much on your brush, you can just tap it off on your paper towel or rag, whatever you're using. I want to like try to define that tree there. Here. Show it. It's kind of a tree there. And I can go over this layer later and kind of make it not so bright if I want to. Alright. And I'm running out of yellow again, so I'm going to squirt that out. Alright, so I don't want a whole lot of this green on my brush. I'm going to do a little bit of green in here. And I can do some more blue and kind of tap some of that in here. It's kind of some blue. Still see in there. kind of give it some blue color in there. Alright, and now this tree in here, I'm going to do some color. Alright, and then you get some yellow. And I do a new video every Friday, so if you want to see more videos how to paint with acrylics, you can look at my channel by clicking right below the video, Emily Powers Art, and it'll take you there and you can see all those. Alright, so it's getting there. And I'm going to a little bit more of that orange. Tap in here some more of that orange color. Alright, and then get that green. Alright, I'll probably go back over that later with some yellow, kind of brighten it a little bit, like I did up there. Oof. Okay. So now I'm going to work down here, and I'm going to get the white and a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red. Got a lot of that yellow in there, and maybe a little bit of my brown. You could probably add just like a little bit of red and blue and might make something similar to this. Alright, and I'll tap that down in here. Do it pretty thick too. Tapping pretty hard and making that paint really come off. Alright, I might take some of that and kind of flick it up. Make it like some grassy texture in there. Just by flicking. I'll get some Cadmium Red Medium and tap some like reddish in there. Get a little bit of blue and some red. Kind of like grayish purple. So it's like a muted purple. Just tap in here. Alright, and now to do like some more texture down here. You could leave it like that. That would, you could still just do it like that. But I'm going to kind of make some other effects with a palette knife. And you could use like a old gift card and use it similar. It would have that sharp edge. So I'm going to get the white and some yellow with that color and a little bit of red. Alright, and then once I've got it, I'm going to kind of scrape some on one side and kind of make some like texture just by kind of poking it up. Just kind of do some of these like texture in here. You don't have to do that. You could leave it the way it is, but do it if you want to. Tap some in here too to kind of make it have some of that texture. And you can like use it flat, you can use it on the edge to get like, so if I use it flat, it'll kind of make like these shapes and kind of catch on the texture. If I kind of scoop up some on the edge, I can make like lines. So you can kind of do both. Okay, and I can get some brown. Feel like a little bit of a darker color. And just kind of get like a little bit of white. You don't have to do all these layers I'm doing. I've got some red in there, but it's alright. Do some like white, lighter color in there too. So it's just kind of fun just to play. It doesn't look like real, you know, realistic or anything, but kind of fun just to play around with the paint and just make shapes and make it look, you know, like it's painted and have some interesting effects that way. Alright, I'm going to take my other brush, my scrubby brush, and get my green again and tap. There's like a bush or something right here. Alright, get some yellow, kind of tap in here and make some more yellow. Alright, maybe just a little bit of yellow in here. Okay. So that's kind of basically the painting right there. And it's kind of fat, like fatter than I wanted it. This big tree is, so I'm going to get some yellow and kind of push that back in there. And I'll get some orange. I'll get blue with it. See if this orange is still wet. Some orange and kind of push it back a little. And then if you get the green back, you can put it back. Alright, so almost there. I just want to get this tree in the middle looking right. That lighter. Get a little bit of red with this green to kind of make it dark. You know, put it in some of these areas that may have gotten a little bit too bright. Alright, it's probably just not going to look right to me. Let's see. Alright, I guess it doesn't look too bad. Alright, so that's pretty much all we're going to do for that, I think. I am going to do, oh my goodness, I keep running out of yellow. Alright, I'm going to brighten up that orange tree there with some yellow, a little bit of red, and some white. Mainly yellow. And go in here. Kind of brighten that tree up. Alright. I think that's pretty good. I might just take like a little bit of red with this and kind of some of that yellow. Brighten that one up. Alright, that's good. My fingernail turned yellow. Yellow. Alright. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's kind of a simple painting, but it's pretty fun just to kind of not worry about it. Of course, I kind of worry about it anyway. I mean, I'm doing it where a bunch of other people are going to see, but you don't have to, because a bunch of other people don't have to see it if you don't want to. So, yeah, it's fun. Just, you know, do it with some dark and light, and you don't have to do the palette knife if you don't want. So, you could just use pretty much the same brush. You know, if you had like this size of a kind of scrubby brush, you could probably do the whole thing with one brush, and just, I mean, it would look a little different, obviously, having it square, and it would be, you know, flared out. So, and you might not want such a big brush, but you know, whatever you have, you definitely would want a scrubby brush though for the trees and things. So, the painting we're doing next to, I was going to say next December, next week, is this fall cabin, and the color is a little funny. I think it's a little bit, all of these kind of printed a little bit more yellow than they should have been, but you can kind of get the idea of what it's going to look like. Mountains and trees, little cabin. It's really pretty. So that should be pretty fun. And then the swan is 2 weeks from now. And then we already did the skates. So if you want to see the skates, you can go to my channel. Just click Emily Powers Art below the video and it should take you there. And I'm just gonna real quick take some of that green and kind of put it in there. Alright. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. Got a little bit more brighter in here. A little bit. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like and subscribe and check out my other videos on my channel. I do a new one every Friday. So I hope you enjoyed it and thanks for watching. Bye.